many as 60% of South Africans are critically underinsured for death and disability. I'm joined in studio by Kinosi Magosha. She is the segment manager at Sanlam Risk. She's going to unpack this number for us and tell us what you can do to better be insured. Hello.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me in studio today.
Well, thank you for coming in. Now, 60% of South Africans, that's a very high number. And I mean, Sanlam is saying that they're critically underinsured when it comes to death and disability. What does this mean?
So what it basically means is that people get life insurance with their employers. Some take it out personally. And when you actually look at the expenses that people have in their day-to-day lives,
Right.
The insurance they have in place is not enough to make sure that they could continue living should something happen to them. So they won't be able to meet those expenses on an ongoing basis should somebody die or get disabled.
Do you find that employees or your everyday person on the street are aware of this?
With some research that was done by my colleagues in the corporate environment, what we have found is that about 1 in 2 people don't actually know. So I actually have been having conversation as well with general people when I walk around as well to find out what they actually know about their risk benefits, and you find that it's not common that they actually know the details of what they have.
Do you find that people actually usually only have the conversation when they get hired at their job? That's when they learn about their risk benefits and they don't actually question it for the duration of their position or time at a company?
That is actually the case. So when people join a company, there's a lot of information sharing that takes place, and it doesn't necessarily happen regularly thereafter.
It's almost too much information when you join.
It actually is a lot of information when you join, because it's like, because most people actually are concerned about this, how much I'm going to earn, this is how much I'm going to take home, you know. All these other things that may happen to me, I'm not too concerned at that particular point in time. So it's a difficult place to have to make all those decisions at that time,
So what should we be doing? What kind of questions should we be asking, and how often?
So the questions you need to be asking your HR is, okay, there are all these benefits. What exactly am I insured for? Myself and my family. And okay, those are the covers that I have in place. How much do I actually have of this cover? So for example, am I insured for death, for disability? If I become disabled, will I receive anything? And how much will I receive? And once you understand that, you have almost like have a picture of what that actually, what of the insurance that you actually have in place with your employer.
Now, why is it important to do this on a regular basis?
It's important to do so on a regular basis because life changes. You know, you start working, you have children, you get married, you buy a house, and which means that if you're buying a house, for example, and you go to your bank and they may need insurance to cover your loan against your house. So your life changes such that your needs from an insurance point of view changes over time as well as throughout your employment life.
Now, can you tell me some of the most important risk benefits that people should be looking at and applying for?
So the most important, because the main thing is to form a foundation. So the most important is disability income protector, or disability cover, which pays an income to an individual when they actually get disabled. Because you want to first replace an income and then make sure that everything else follows on top of that. Once you have that in place, you want to then make sure that should something happen to you, whether you pass away, there's something in place for your dependents. So then death cover should follow thereafter to make sure that your dependents are looked after should you pass away.
Is something like income protector insurance, insurance, I guess, is that something that employers usually offer, or something that you would have to seek from a third party?
It's a mixture. So what you would find is typically employers do aim to provide it for the employees, but it's also not replacing your total income. So you may need to still go out to your private providers to get the top up on what your employer already provides. In some cases, there are employers who don't even provide any income disability like income protector products to the employees. And in that instance, the employee then needs to be quite, excuse me, the employee then needs to make sure they put in the effort to get that cover in place to protect themselves as well as their families.
I think this interview might be a little bit of a wake-up call for a lot of people who are watching. What questions do those people watching need to go now to their HR departments and ask? What are the most important questions to be asking?
So the most important questions, if I were to reiterate, is what am I covered for? Am I covered for death? Am I covered for disability? Am I covered for critical illness cover, for example? Then how much of it am I covered for? And when can it change? When can it actually reduce? And when will it stop? For example, if there's some benefits where when you claim, like for example, critical illness or disability, it reduces the amount that's available on your death. So you need to understand those kind of things. And then you must also find out what are the terms and conditions and where you can find those terms and conditions.
Now, when it comes to death cover, you're not actually there to see the plan unfold. So what kind of measures do you need to put in place? What do you need to ensure is going to happen in the event of your death?
So employees have an option to write down who their dependents are. So who are the people they want to receive the money when they pass away. So they actually need to be quite proactive to ask the HR as well, how do I actually go about writing down the names of the people who need to receive the money and keeping that list up to date as well, because unfortunately people do separate with their partners and they go on to have other children, which should not be left out on that list, which is very important for your family's well-being.
Now, these are questions we need to be asking our employers and our HR departments, but would you actually recommend we seek third-party advice from someone like a financial planner?
I would actually recommend that people do, because when you speak to just HR, they will speak to what your employer provides typically. They won't necessarily look at you in your as a holistic framework, your financial needs holistically. They're not financial experts. They're there for HR type roles and they support your financial wellness, but they're not the financial experts that you need to speak to make sure that you're financially healthy. So you need to speak to your third provider.
Okay, Nosi, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Jennifer, for having me.